Let me share the screen. You guys are able to view this?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's wait. Okay, no problem. Let's let's start. So, guys, initially what we did, we started with understanding about the objects. Everything in Python is an object, and we have done some memory management related, uh, some kind of practice, right? How each variable gets stored and everything, all those things we have seen it. Okay, then slowly, okay, in the memory management, okay, as soon as when you run the Python, what it is going to happen, it will be going to load, okay, all predefined function, I mean like methods, variables, and classes are going to load. Okay, then your program related data will load. Then then program will get loaded. Program means program related objects. Now a is equal to 20, you say. That time a is equal to referring to 10, or a is equal to 500 means a, for a 500 new object will get created. All those things happens that time. Then it will check for the next line what it is there, like next line, say for example some print statement is there, then it will call the print class inside. So all those things will happen. So program first it loads into the memory before the program gets loaded. Okay, give me a second, let me close this, else people will run off. Okay, so after entering the like loading the predefined methods, variables, classes, which are like all your like the the main objects required for you to run the program. Okay, so all of them will get loaded. After that, program will get loaded, and then program will get loaded slowly, line by line. It starts executing. uh, that is how it is. Okay. Now, then after that, we started learning about the data types. What are the fundamental data types? Int, float, complex, boolean, and string. Okay. These are the fundamental data types. Then what are the derived data types? Bytes, byte array, list, tuple, dictionary set, frozen set, and uh, range. Okay. Just a recap for you guys with respect to the bytes. Bytes means it is nothing but a data set. Um, which consists of sequence of numbers, a list of numbers. Okay, but all of the numbers should be less than 255. Okay, so usually this is a like less than 1 to 255. Any number in this group should be less than 1 to 255. Sorry, 0 to 255. Okay, and I think 256 will also be added over here. Yeah, 256 is also there, I think. Okay, so this is a bytes data type, but the problem example of the byte data type, I can say that you can say 10, 25, 255, 10, something like that. Okay, the problem with this data type, once if you create this, okay, it cannot be modified. Okay, you cannot insert or remove the elements from this particular data type. So that's why you have something called as byte array is there. So this is the bytes data type where you cannot modify the data. Okay, cannot modify the data of the bytes. Cannot modify the data. Okay, modify. Sorry, guys. Modify the data. Okay, and bytes. What happens is byte array means the same thing, whatever the range, whatever you can give it to the same bytes data, or you can give any data. which is are in between 0 to 256, 55. Uh, yeah, let me. But you can modify the data. Okay, you can modify the data. That is the use of the what do you say? Mm, byte array. Byte array. Okay. Next, list. So I would like to say it will be in the form of list. That will be in the form of tuple. Okay, whatever you give. Okay. Now the next part is list. List is list of variables. Okay. Now let's see the characteristics. Okay. What are the list characteristics? Okay. First, it should be heterogeneous. Duplication must be allowed. Okay. Heterogeneous duplications must be allowed. Okay. Uh, Adding and removing should be allowed of the data, means list can be growable or list can be uh, means like it is mutable or immutable. That is the thing. So that comes to it should be mutable. Okay, list should be mutable. So heterogeneous duplications to be allowed, it should be mutable. So main what do you say features of this thing, duplications to be allowed, all different kinds of things, and it should be mutable. So what is the tuple? Okay, the same thing, whatever it is there. Okay, except one last thing, that instead of it is a mutable, tuple is immutable. Okay, okay, you cannot modify anything in the tuple. Okay, dictionaries. So dictionaries are what? Dictionaries are also a data type. Okay, where you will be not having any keys, I mean, sorry, any indexing. Okay, so you will have the key value pairs in the dictionaries. Okay, whether you can modify the data of the dictionary, absolutely, it is mutable only. Where it went. Okay, it is mutable only. And the problem, what it is, duplications are allowed. Duplications are control Z, key not allowed. Keys cannot be allowed. Okay, that is what in the dictionaries. Okay, so next what we have? We have set. Okay, set. Okay, what is the difference in between? Set is also immutable. Dictionary is also immutable. Mutable. Okay, means you can modify them. Sets are also mutable, means you can modify the data in the set. Okay, but duplications not allowed. Okay, okay, and one more thing, for everything. Okay, order is preserved. Order is preserved means which order, whichever we have given the input, every time when you access those data or that list or the tuple, that order is preserved for all of them, but dictionary and sets order is not preserved. One more characteristic. Okay, so for tuple, this is instead of this, I should say it as uh, set. Okay, so order is not preserved. But what is the problem? Okay, sets are mutable things. Okay, but I want to not to allow, once the set is created, no one should modify it. So for that, you have something called as Trojan set. All the characteristics will be like that, like duplications. Um, this is the sets. Okay, and this is the frozen sets, where you are not able to, you cannot modify the um, insert a new element or add a new element or delete a new element. It is not possible. Okay, adding a new element or removing a new element is not possible in frozen sets. Okay, one more characteristics for dictionaries and sets and frozen sets are order is not preserved. Okay, so that is the thing. So yeah, range means just it is the range of values, whatever you give, range of 10 or range of 20. Mostly it will be 100%, not mostly, it is 100% int data type. Okay, so we have gone through all those data types. You have something called as none data type. Just it is kind of void kind of thing, means nothing will be there in the none data type. Okay, and next we have covered about the arithmetic operator. All, okay, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, okay, modulos division, okay, uh, and the power operator, all these things are called as arithmetic operators. Okay, control C, let me put it control V. Okay, then relationship operator, greater than, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, or relationship operator. Okay, then logical operator. Okay, um, logical operator and, okay, or, okay, not, okay, are called as logical operator. Okay, then we have to use truth table for referring this and operator. If we have x and y, okay, are two variables. Say for example, x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 20. Okay, if I say when x will be true means anytime if 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 x is, okay, if x is false, okay, then it will it will display, okay, value of x. Okay, but before to that we should know what is true and what is a fail condition. If you have any value here or here, x or y, if any value is other than, okay, empty string or 0, then it is called as false. Okay, remember this. Okay, so here it is, we have like 10 is there. Okay, 10 and 20. This is true, correct, right? 10 is true and 20 is true. So both are true. So since x is not the false value, x will never display. So whichever it is there, y will be displayed. Okay. Okay. Example, one more thing I will take. Okay. X is equal to 0. Okay. X is equal to 20 and y is equal to 20. Okay, let me show it here. Okay, because this is might have confused you guys. So that is the reason I would like to revisit this today. Even it takes some time. Just bear with these basics repetition from my side. Okay, A is equal to 10, B is equal to um, 20. Okay, now A and B. Okay, as I said, A is not equal to 0 or empty string. So it is a true. And B is not equal to 0 or empty string. So B is equal to true. Okay. If when A is going to get printed, when the value A is going to get printed means if it is only false. Okay. Else, whatever the value, whether it is a true value is there or false value is there right side, okay, then that will get printed. Let me show you guys. Okay. See, since it is the B is the value true because A is already true, that is the reason. Okay, what if I have the empty string? Okay, see guys, since A is false now, A value will be printed. So that's the condition what I have written over here. If X is false, means the first value is false, then X value will appear. If whether the Y value is true or false, if X value is true, okay, if the Y value is true or false, irrespective of that, Y value will be displayed. Say for example, now 20 I have, and this is the 0 or empty string or something like that we have. When I do this, B value will be appeared because X is true or A is true. Let us see that. See, this is even though if I have both failed condition, X is false, okay, whatever I have, okay, X is, I mean, A is false, whatever I have here in the B, irrespective of that, I'll get this thing. Okay, see this. Okay, just remember the small condition which is very much useful during your actual programming life, that if X is false, then it will display X, else it will display, then it will display, okay, Y. That's it. Okay, this is for AND condition. Okay, so what about the OR condition? Okay, was same thing, nothing will get changed, but OR condition means, okay, if if X is instead of true, because any one thing, okay, if you take R true table, if any one thing is, if any one thing is true, I am happy, I will display true. Okay, in AND, if any one thing is fail, then I will display fail. Okay, of the condition. So if any one condition, that's why we are checking for X. Since AND both should be true, it become complete statement true, right? Normally. Okay. So true, okay, is, if it is not there means false. If it is there, immediately display that value. We are displaying the false values. Example you take. Okay, if X is true, then it will display value of X, else Y value will be displayed. Now let us see where it went. Yeah, now just I'll modify this. A is equal to, okay, I will put this print like this so that okay, 10 again I will put it as 20. Okay, I will write it as the value of A and B is, okay, that's better. Yeah, now same thing, I'll put it as the value of A or B, or B. Okay, let's run it up. Okay, see, for A and B, since both are false, both are true, A and B showed the 20 value. Since the first statement itself were true, it showed R value as, I mean, like for R it showed the 10. Okay, so remember guys, what I want to say here is, whatever it is there, okay, the X statement will display X only the time, the first value it will display only the time when it is false. Okay, the first statement um, of the if any given expression, like when you say A or B, when, if A is true, then only it will be displayed. If you take A is B is false, okay, now whether this will display, or I mean, sorry, this one should be, this one is false, yeah, this one is true. Yeah, this it will be looking for true values. Since A is false now, okay, now see this, what happens. Oh, empty string. Yeah, it is there. Okay, empty string here because the false condition. So that's why it displayed this empty string. And B it displayed because A is fail, so it is looking for the second B value, whether it is true or false. Okay, if I have that also empty string, okay, both are like this and displayed this or displaying this. Okay, just remember. So let's get back. I hope you understood this. Okay, so that is the AND operator or operator. Not means it is like reverse of whatever you are doing. Okay, so that is the thing. Then bitwise operators, like I have 100, say for example, A is equal to 10 you give, okay, B is equal to 20 you give, okay. Converting A into binary internally will give you actually 0B, okay, means like binary value, okay. So the last bit will be 0, second bit will be 2, I mean like 1, because it will be 2. 2 plus, okay, 4 plus 8, so this one 1, okay. So this will be that value 10, okay, and now value 20, okay. B is equal to, okay, 0 B, okay, and what else it will be there? So it will be 20 means 8, okay. Let me calculate using this new, okay, don't save me. So 20, right? I forget. Okay, 20, 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5. Okay, so let us see. Okay, this is the for 20 we need, right? What it is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Okay, so now to get that value, 20 means 16 plus 4. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. So this should be the value 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. This is the A value. For your sake, you can keep extra 0 here just to calculating. Okay, if I say logical AND operator, then when we will say a specific thing is what do you say, 0B, I'll keep because the output also we have to first get it into the binary. If A and B, okay, the logical operator. So when it is logical bitwise operators, bitwise this AND operator, when you use if AND means anyone is there as fail means it will be 0. Okay, so 0, 0, 1, so it will be 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, so 1, 0, 0, 0. I don't know why it came like this. Let me check that. Okay, so A is equal to 10, B is equal, or we might have done something a mistake over there in conversion. Okay, so A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Okay, so now I would like to convert this into print. Okay, what do you say, bin of A, means I would like to convert this into binary and see it, okay, before doing anything. Okay, then same way B. Okay, so I have got 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0. Okay, now what I want, okay, say for example తీసుకోండి రాది లేదు నాది. Guys, give me a minute. I'll be back. Just give me a minute. guys, I'm back. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so a and sorry, int of a and b. Okay, so let me run that. Bin of 3. Okay, sorry, I have to remove this. Let me run. Okay, it's a 0. So whatever we got, the answer is correct. So this is the, so and means both should be true, then only you will get this. Okay, so what and all logical operators we have? So and is there. Okay, or is there. Okay, so what is the or? Just a pipe symbol you have to give like this. This is the pipe symbol. Okay, so this will give you 30. Okay, how? Okay, any one is true, right? Just give one, because this one it will be becoming 1, this one it will be becoming 1, this one it will be becoming 1, this one it will be 1. So 1 plus 2, 4. Okay, 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 4, 7. 7 plus, I think, 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. So yeah, 7 only. Okay, 7 plus 8. 7 plus 8. How much it is, guys? 15.
13.
Yeah, 15 plus 16. How much? 15 plus 16. 15, 15, 16, 15, 31. Okay. So it should be 31. Okay. Let us check that 30. Oh, sorry, guys. So it is 15 and the last value, I don't know. Very, very poor at this. Okay. So it will come 0, 0. Somewhere last bit it will be 0, because both are zeros, right? I forget. Okay, so yes, if you remove that one, then it will be 30. Okay, so this is a OR operator. Okay, and you have the XOR operator. Means in the for the XOR operator, if both the bits are different, then you will get it as 1. Means it should not be true. I mean, like both should be true or both should be false. So for example, print. Okay, uh, like if I have something like this. Okay, so print, no, only in integers. You should use only integers for bitwise operators. You cannot use it for strings or anything. Okay, bitwise operator should be used for only integers and boolean. Boolean, anyhow, it will get converted to ones or zeros, but remaining you should not use float, string, complex, anything you cannot use for these bitwise operators. Okay, so now it will be doing XOR operator. XOR means like this: A or B. Okay, now when it does, say for example here 0, it will be there, so it will move it. 0, 0, it will be, both are same, so 0. So now here this one will be with this one. Okay, so both are different, then it will be 1. Like that it will calculate. At the end you will get the result as 20. Okay, for this 0 and 20. Okay, if it is 10 and 20, then it will be 30. Okay, both will get the same results, XOR and this thing. Okay, okay, that's the thing. Okay, bitwise operators. Okay, and we have shift operator. Okay, shift operator, as I said, nothing, just whatever the, okay, if you have say for example 10, what is the value of 10? First it will take this entire thing. Okay, so okay, what is the 10 value? 0, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so shift operator means, okay, left shift operator, why, what it does is, first it will remove these two elements. left side whatever we have two elements, and these two will be moved to this location. So it will put like this 1 0 means these two moved to the left side. Okay, and next two bits will be filled with 0 0. Okay, so now you have come to know that say how many bits you have to shift will be explained 10 move to 2 bits. That's what you told here. 2 bits you have. If you have told 3 bits means, if you have told like this means 3 bits it have moved, 0 will come here, and remaining empty whatever you have, the remaining 3, right? Because this one you moved here, remaining 3 will be empty, so those things will be filled. Okay, so now let us see. Okay, shift wise operators. A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, okay. B is equal to 2 I will give. Okay, A left shift I have done. Okay, 2. So this should give me some value. A left shift 2. Okay, so 10 will be this thing. Okay, so where it went? Yeah, 10 left shift 2. Okay, so this it will become 1 0 1 0, correct, right? So what I'll do? Okay, yeah. One thing, guys, one thing I forget. It should be in this order, 8-bit order, 1 2 in the byte format. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So now 0 1 0 1 remaining, and all you keep zeros. Okay, 8-bit format you have to follow. Okay, so now I will be, because minimum this is. Okay, so now I am shifting this 1 0 1 0, right? So 2 bits I have to remove because left shift 10 left shift 2. I will remove this and move this entire thing to left side. So that time 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So these two are gone. Okay, now this one will come here 0, this one will come here 0, this one will come here 1, this one will come here 0, this one will come here 1, this one will come here 0, and you have 2 whatever we have removed. When we moved it to left right, those things will be filling with 0. Okay, just see this, guys. Okay, uh, before to that, what I want is what is the value? Value is 101 000. Okay, um, x is equal to bin of, okay, sorry, int of 0 b 101 000. Okay, so this is what I have got. Let me check. A left shift B is the same thing, you are going to get it or not. Means this value, and when I print this value, both should be same. Okay, if I have done any mistake means calculation mistake. Apart from that, nothing. Okay, see this one. I've got it, and print X also I'll do. I should get the same thing. Okay, I got the same thing, right? That is how left shift. Then you have this right shift. In right shift, you will do the same thing, but you will move it to the right side. Where we are going to use these things, guys? You will be going to use it in the like completely electronic systems where it requires for you to move certain buffer data to the right side so that some sequence data will come over there. That kind of things you will be doing it during the booting process, all those things. But apart from that, during the normal times in like you and me, and we are not going to use them. So right shift is 10, right shift 2. Okay, so now this is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the right shift. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 1 0 1 0. This is the 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 2 3 4. Now 1 0 1 0. This is the 10, 1 10 value, correct, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and this is 8. Okay, this is 0. Okay, now right shift 2 means first two things will be cleared. Okay, okay, right side two things I have cleared. Okay, I'm not least bothered about it. In that position, first this one will come here and this one will come here as 1. Okay, this one will come as 0. Okay, this one will come as 0. This one will become 0. This one will become something 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. What about when I moved this thing to here, left side, whatever the remaining two are there, I will be filling with new things as 0. Two other bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 now. Okay. Now the last whatever when I moved this towards this side, okay, entire thing, this thing is moved to right side, right? So two fields will be empty here. Those things I will be putting it as 0. Now what will be the value here? I got 2 as the value because 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0 something I've got, means that is 2. Okay. Now let me check the value. Just I will move this to right shift. I got 2, but I don't know what I'll get it here. Okay. Yeah, int of yeah, correct only. This is just I have to remove these two and I keep this thing as output as 1. Okay, now both will be 2. Okay, so this is the right shift operator. Okay, and some assignment operators are there. So instead of x is equal to other things. So we are I have explained shift wise operator. Now assignment operator, x is equal to x plus 10 is there something. So you can write it x plus is equal to 10. Okay, and this is a thing. If it is x is equal to x minus 10. Okay, so x minus is equal to 10. X minus is equal to 10. All these things you can write it. This is called as assignment operators. You can apply it for division, multiplication, x is equal to x division, or x is equal to x modulus of some value or something like that. You can use them. So that is the thing. Okay. So, and the last two things are ternary operators. A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. We will give example. Okay. Now, two values we have. Okay. Now, what I'll do is based on the result of some value, some condition, based on that, I want to assign a value for C. Okay, C is equal to 30 or something like that. Let us see. Okay, A is equal to 20. Let's see, B is equal to um, 10. Okay, now instead of writing the conditions and getting all those things, now I want to get the value of x is equal to 30. Okay, if only the condition A is greater than B. Okay, then only I will get the value as 30. Now 20 is greater than 10. Okay, that's not an issue. If it is not there, else, okay, then write it as 40. Okay, else I can give you here input methods, input. Okay, enter the value of A. Okay, I will give it like this. Okay, now B I will be giving it as, because whichever the choice, instead of modifying, next we are going to discuss about, I was going to repeat the input methods related thing. That's why I have I added instead of repeating there. Okay, so I'll just run this particular program. Okay, but see, you will get an error here. Okay, okay, print x I should give, print of x. Okay, yeah, let me check 100, 200. Okay, I got 40 because else condition only, because A greater than B. What happening here is type of even, okay, So even if I put a is equal to 500, okay, 5000, b is equal to 100, okay, still it will show me something different. B is equal to 30 or something like that. Okay, uh, how it is means like type of A you give, print type of A, okay, give here print type of B, okay, and now you run it. Okay, A is equal to 10. I got a string value of 10. Okay, now A is equal, okay, instead of A I should have given B. Okay, no problem. 100 I've given. Okay, it gave me 40. Okay, so everything is converting into string. Okay, I will suggest you guys to convert this thing into integer before you use it. Okay, if you are doing it mathematically, because it is doing the string wise comparison. Okay, so for example, if I give it as 0, 100, okay, and if I give this is as normal 10, let me check. It is giving, okay, 100 is greater than 10, correct, right? 0 1 0 0 I given, but it is just considered as 100. Okay, so 100 is greater than 10, but it is giving the precedence since it is 0, so it is considered as less value in string. 0 has got less power, I mean less value, ordinance value than 1. So it will be, even though if it is a 100 number, it is considering it as 10. So that's why you have to convert this into integer. Okay, usually what it should do, 100 is greater than, actually here 10. Okay, this is a b value. Okay, I will do it later. Okay, b value this is. Okay, so 100 is greater than 10. Which value I should get? This value I should get. Why I am getting 40? Because it is checking the first value what you have given in string. So it's 0. 0 has a lower precedence value. Means like the internal value it is given for 0 might be some number. So that number it will be compared with 1. 1 will be having higher number. So then it will say that okay, that is only correct. So now if I convert it into int, okay, if I convert it into int, then no issues for you. See, now run it. Oh, run it. Okay. So value of A 100 I'm converting. Okay. Value of B 10 I'm converting. Now it properly showed 30. Earlier it didn't show. It showed 40. Now it showed 30 only. Now it will work as is. Okay. So these are all things which we have said. The type of operation you have used here is called as ternary operator. Okay, this kind of thing, whatever the conditions you give, based on the condition satisfaction, whether this value should apply or this value should apply, is called as a ternary operator. And last thing, you have a special operator. A is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20. There are two types of special operators. One is um, what do you say, membership operator, and the another one is identity operator. Membership operator, what is meant by membership operator? Okay, if membership operator should be given somewhere multiple values, or you can use it for string, like it can be a list. Okay, like 10 20 hello. Okay, now this here membership operator can be used. Okay, uh, hello is there in A, then it will run. Okay, oh, unsupported int or string.
10 comma 2 hyphen given na.
Oh, got. Okay, okay. Then it said yes, you have hello in A. Okay, so no problem. It is, so hello is there. So that's why it gave me whether it is the hello is member of something or not. So that is called as membership operator. Okay. So the same thing, you have one more membership operator. Not means, okay, hello is not there in A, then it will say no, it is there. Means that is no, false. It will give not in. Okay. It should be not in. Okay. Not in. Okay. Okay. So it will give you false because you asked it is not in. Okay. It is not there in inside. Then it will say no, 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 it is there. That's why it said no, you said wrong. That is false. You said wrong. Okay. So is it there? Means then it will say yes, it is there. Is it not there? Is it not there? No, it is there. No. Okay, that is the thing. So this is about the membership operator. And the last and final last thing, that is the this is sorry, membership operator. We have the identity operator. Okay, now A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20. Okay, A is B means A and B are pointing to the same object or not. That is called as is means the value and the object ID both should be the same. Okay, so print ID of A. Okay, and print ID of B. Okay, let's run this. Okay, both are different objects, so that's why they have different thing. Now I have same both values. Now let us see. That's why it is true. A is B means both are referring to the same value and object. Both are the value in the object is also same, so everything is same. If I said something like 257, I take, which are different range where every time you create a new object. 257 different new object, it will get created. So I'll run it. So this both are false because they are till 256 only same objects will get created. And text, as long as if it is single word, okay, that's not an issue. Okay, they will give you the same thing. Guys, this is important thing because sometimes you do object comparison. Okay, you have a reference might have taken, and some from Excel you will be taking some value, and you will be one cell data you will be comparing with the value what you are holding already for comparing. So if A is B, then if it is true, then some certain condition you have to execute. Okay, adding or removing or doing something you might have to do. So this is very important. So A is B. So it's true. But if you have some sentence, not a word, if you have a sentence, hello world, right? Okay, world. Both are identical. Both are identical, but objects are different if you see. Because it is sentence. Till word also, they will store it in the same object. But if it is a sentence, there it will demolish all the myths of how they refer an object. Okay. So guys, this is the thing. Okay. What we have gone through, and apart from that, last one thing, what we right? Command line arguments. Like there is something called as import system. If you do import sys, if you do, okay, that I have to explain it in the other program. But just remember this: import sys you give in any file and write or you have something like argv is the method. Okay, so sys dot argv. Okay, if you give, okay, so what it does is when you are running in the command line, okay, so command line arguments we can give it like python, okay, in the command prompt python with this file name, this wherever you are stored this file, right? So I can write this as simple way, from sys module import argv. Okay, so this is the last thing which we have discussed. Okay, So in this, if you want to like enter something, say today's, okay, okay, uh, okay, print, okay, enter the, okay, uh, okay, total students joined today. Okay, I'll keep it like this. Okay, okay, what I'm doing is whatever, okay, I am giving on in the command prompt. Okay, what I should use in the command prompt. Okay, I should use like this Python. Okay, I can give the arguments automatic system by default. Okay, ask you to do one thing, that is dot some program file, that is which program you are trying, that is test.py. Apart from that, you can give 10, 20, some 30. Okay, so this first will be consider file name as first argument. Okay, argument of 0. Okay, and this is the file name. Okay, let me change it. Okay, I'll move it and I'll make it as one. I'll show you guys this one. I think you guys are able to recollect this. In some variables from the command line you want to take here and all. What we have done, we have taken after the code getting executed, after like before running you have not given, when you run then you have given the values. So see, when once I run, then I have given values 10, 20 like that. But before the program gets run, okay, how you are going to get those values? I think where it is. Yes, I'll take this code. Should be somewhere here. No, it is not there. Python. Go here. Oh, okay. Not required. I think yesterday we have done, I think, 1.txt. Yeah, this one. Okay. Okay. Edit. Okay. Because this is the last class which we had. Okay. This is there. Okay. So for example, something. Okay. Here. I just want to add sum of some numbers. Okay, so sys some program I have written. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll go to the command prompt. Simple way what I have done, sys module uh, I have imported where I would like to give argument values during the runtime. First, initially my sum value will be 0. Whatever the values I give in the argument values. I don't want the first one because it is the file name. So all remaining values, whatever I give in the command line, like 10, 20, 30, all those things should be assigned to new list. Okay. So this will be the new list args. So then what I want to read each and every value of X. I want to sum them because each and every value I would like to sum them and I want to get the total sum. Okay, so let's take this and run this from here. Okay, okay, yeah. Hmm. Okay, hey God. Okay, let me. Okay, okay. dir, I think desktop. Okay, this one. Here we have desktop. Okay, ls. Okay, cd desktop. Okay. In this 1.py is the file where I have saved. Okay. Now for running any Python program in the command prompt, I should use Python. Okay. And what I have to give? I have to give 1.py file name. This is from here I am storing the values in the form of list. Okay, 20, 30, 50, something like that. For adding some numbers or something logic. Just I'm creating array argv in the sys module will store all these four values. Okay, okay. Now if I click this, it will give me 100 because 20 plus 30 is equal to 50, 50 plus 50 is equal to 100. Okay, how it is possible? If you see, I just did small change where it went. I don't know. Yeah, this one. Okay, I had total four values, that is index 3 till there. First 0th index is the file name, whichever I have given, right? I have removed it. From 1 to remaining everything I have added to args, and that from using for loop I have completed everything. Okay, for addition, sum is equal to sum plus this thing. Or I can give, okay, sum plus, okay, I can remove this. Okay, and I can run this. Okay, save this first. If I use assignment operator, okay, just to see this again, I'll get the same thing. Okay, so that's all, guys. So it might have bored for you guys, but it's my intention to help you guys if someone is not able to understand anything in previous classes. Like maybe this 1 hour might have actually covered all those things so that it can refresh your brain. So is it clear for you guys now? Guys, is it
Yes,
clear?
yes, brother.
Okay, so now we are getting into the flow controls. Okay, flow controls. Let us see the flow controls. Where it is. Yeah, here it is. Let me move this. Yeah, and move this here. Super. Okay. Now let me add one more thing. Okay. So what is meant by flow control? Flow control. Okay. See, you might have seen in your this thing. Okay. Like if statements, if else. Okay. Else state. Okay. If else means like it will be like this in C, I think. Okay. Else statement. Only else. Okay. Or you might have seen loops also. These are some conditions. In Python, it is if else means if. Okay. If. Okay. We use. And else you can use. Okay. That is not a problem. Okay. Or I can say that um, there are different types. These are called as conditions. Okay. These are conditions. But before to that, I just want to give you what is a flow control first of all. Like if for loop, breaks, pass, else if, while, all these things are some control statements. Means whether like the order, the execution of the statements, how it should happen will be taken care based on the condition flow. The condition. Okay. What is meant by condition? Condition can be anything. We have gone through all those operators, right? Using them, you can build a condition like A greater than B is a condition. Okay. That can use if condition for relationship operator, which is like A greater than B. Then you please execute some blah blah code, something, some code you have to execute. Okay. So there could be some for loop. As I said, one more thing. So, for x in range of 10, I don't want to print. I'll take each x value. Okay, here range of 10. Okay, what I'll do, I'll take each x value and I will be doing something else. First take the first x value 1, I mean 0, and do multiplication or subtraction or do something for getting the new value. So flow control describes the order in which the statements will get executed. Remember, okay, order in which the statements will get executed. Okay, so how many types of control flows we have? That is the first point we will discuss. Okay, I have total 3 types of control flows. Okay, first one is conditional. Okay, this is called as conditional statements. Anything in the program, whatever you write is a statement only. Okay, A is equal to 10 is a statement. B is equal to 20 is also a statement. Okay, single line is a statement. Okay, or any. Okay, so everything is a statement, conditional statements. Okay, say for example, if, correct, right? Oh, sorry. If is conditional statement. If condition we say, right? If you can, if is a conditional statement. Okay. Elif, okay, is also one conditional statement. Okay. Else is also one conditional statement. Okay. Either you can use only if in the program, or you have two conditions. One is if and another one is elif. You can use in the program. Okay. You can use like that, or you can use, okay, if condition, elif, or you can use else also in the program. We will see some examples using them. Okay. Now, these are called as conditional statements. Remember, we also have something called as transfer statements. For flow, some execution is happening. You used some for loop or while loop or something. You have some conditions, something continuous repetitive things are happening. Okay, those things you can break, means the flow of execution you can break, or continue, means like you can continue to some other location of execution, stopping here and all. Pass means just don't execute anything, just go back to the loop again, once again with a new value, like x is equal to 0 first value. Once it sees pass, below values it doesn't execute, it will just go back again and start something to the, like with 1. Okay, so something, we'll see all those things. Okay, but just remember, inside we are going to put a condition inside, like this is the condition. Okay, condition. Okay, statement. Okay, we'll have condition, right? This is the condition we'll have, if condition or for loop condition or somewhere while loop condition. Inside you are going to give this. Okay, but whereas if and all, you know, that is the beginning of the condition should be having if else or something like that. So those I don't want to explain, but we are going to see the example. So that is the transfer statement. Just remember, this is the transfer statement. Okay, and what is this? This is the conditional statements. Apart from that, we have loops also, right? Okay, loops also we have. That is the iterative statements. Okay, how many types of iterative statements we have? Okay, for loop, okay, and while loop, WHILE. Okay, while loop we have total 2 we have. Okay, total 2 we have. Here in a program you can use like any one of these conditional, this transfer statement. Here also you have writing for looping, you can use for loop or while loop depending upon your this thing. there is something called as a do while loop, which is not there in Python. Just remember, you have only two, for loop and while. Okay. Now, so guys, is it clear that we have total only three flow controls? That is conditional, that is if else or else kind of statements we use, and another one is transfer statements, break, continue, and pass. What you see here, these conditional statements, breaks, for, while, and all. What are these? You remember the first day class, guys?
Loops.
Import keyword, import keyword, okay, from keyword module, import okay, import keyword, I think. Import a keyword, I think. Import keyword. Um, keyword dot kw list, I think. Let me run this, try to run this. Yeah, this is the thing, correct. Okay, so if you see, we have seen false, none, true. Okay, some other we will see it later, class, all those things. See, else if, else, okay, and for loop, okay, if condition, okay, then other values like pass, okay, and continue, okay, and where is it? A break, okay. All of these things, whatever the conditional statements you have, transfer statements we have, iterative statements you have, right? All of them are keywords. Just remember, okay? So that's why I said that you have not more than like less than 38 or 37 bit depending upon what type of Python you are using. Okay. So all these are nothing but the keywords. If, elif, else, continue, break, pass, for, and while, all these things are this. Okay. Now let's get back. Today I'll be taking a little more time. If you have not got any breakfast or anything, after half an hour I'll give you a break and again we'll have the class. Okay, is it okay, guys?
Yes, Raghav.
Yeah, Raghav.
Yeah, okay. So now many of the people, okay, to be frank, they will be losing the interest because of this particular conditional statements. Now, what for that we are going to create something like in a different approach we will go through. We will take only the programs and then that way we'll be right. I mean, like learning them. Okay, let's start. Okay, the first conditional statements we will start. Conditional statement, that is if we need to start. Okay, we have if, elif, and else is there. Okay, first we'll start with if. Okay, so my name. Okay, so what I'll do is name is equal to, okay, input, enter your name. Okay, this is the input. Okay, fantastic. Okay, what I want, if, now if name is equal to, this is equal to tells that whatever the data in name, okay, and whatever the data in here, whatever you give, okay, whatever you give, like Raghav, okay, whatever you give here, okay, if the data which is over here and the data which is over here, if both are same, you have to put this colon, always remember this, if both are same, okay, this is just it is not like if both are same you have to put it's not like that. For every statement, conditional statement or flow control statement or some break statement, I mean like transfer statement, okay, iterative statement, conditional statement, or what do you say, the transfer statement, you have to put this one. Okay. Okay. Now just I have clicked on that. Okay. Now what I want to do. Okay. If it is there. Okay. Print. Okay. Hello. What I want to do. I want to hello Raghav. Good morning. I just want, if this satisfied, then only I will be running this code. Okay. If it is not, okay. So if it is there, print, okay, how are you? Yeah. Okay. Let me run this. Okay. Now what I'll do, I will give Raghav. Whether both the text it is looking and here whatever it is, both are same. Name whatever I am giving and this one, both are same. Then I have it's started. See this this one is coming. Okay, let me take this code. I don't want to remove this because from here on I'll be sharing the code as well because we are getting it to the actual programming, right? So okay, now let me run this. Now Raghav I have given both whatever the new I am entering. Okay, and what I am expecting, whether both are same, Raghav and Raghav, both text is same or not. That's what I'm checking. Okay, some issues here. Let me get back on Python IDE. Ooh. Open containing folder. Let me launch the IDE, or let me take this program. Here only we have, right? Let me close this. Yeah, we have this program, right? Take this. Let me put this and save it in the same one dot program. Okay. So I have taken it here, and what I am going to do, I am just going to run this code. Okay. What it is, Python. I can run from there also, or I can run from here also. Run Python run. Okay. So enter the name Raghav. I have given. Now it will, based on my, if the condition, if my condition is true, means like whatever the text I have given Raghav and is equal to Raghav, that text, then it will give me some error. Raghav is not defined. Raghav. Why? If name is equal to anything wrong I have done, text anything wrong. How are you? Where I have given anything you observed here? Enter the name Raghav. If name is equal to Raghav, means both are same, then you give me that print value. Hello, good morning.
I think we can use else here.
No, no, no. This condition, first of all, it has to go inside, right? So I'm just running this. Okay. Raghav. Okay. So that is the thing. Due to
Course you
is
have to do.
no. This is the problem. See, I have taken a 2.7 interpreter. Input in 2.7 will consider it as okay non-string. Okay, whatever you give, if I give Raghav also, it will be considering something else as different, not text. Okay, so that is the problem. So I'll take a different interpreter. Okay. Where I'll take, I will take better. Since I gave string properly like this quotes, that's the reason I got it properly. Python 3.8 I will take. Okay. Open containing folder. Okay, now I have opened it, idle. Okay, I will run this new file and I'll paste this. Okay, and I'll save as. Okay, and I will desktop, I'll go there and I'll select the same file and save it. Yes. Okay, so sometimes you have, I'll keep multiple versions. That could be the reason why it might have come like this. Now if I run this, okay, Raghav, without giving anything, no quotes, nothing, I will give, and I'll click enter and it will give me hello Raghav. Since the condition is true, it has become like that. Now what I'll do is I'll run the same Python program. Instead of Raghav I give Ravi I give. Okay, is it the same? The values of um, name and Raghav is the same now?
No.
No. Okay, so that is the reason you get only how are you, that's it, because it is going out directly without executing this. It is skipping this entire step and going directly to this. If the condition is pass, if the condition returns true, okay, means what is the condition returns true? Let me show you guys here. Okay, if the condition is okay, returns true. Okay, this is the reason why it is waiting. Conditional statements are waiting for the true. Then here now it is returned true. If condition returned true, so then it will get inside the statements of the program. Okay, so which and all these steps. You can have 10,000 number of lines or 1 lakh number of lines in them, irrespective of it. But when they are going to get executed, only the time, okay, the condition returns the true. Okay, like this I have set, like this true. Internally, it will be returning true that time when I run this particular program. Okay, so I will give Raghav, then it will execute. And at the end, it comes out of the loop, and then it takes the next statement as not loop. It comes out of this execution of these statements, and then it takes the next statement after if. Okay, after executing all these things. Okay, so this is the if statement. So next we will go to the if else. Okay, yeah, let me remove this. Okay, now is else statement. I'll write it now. Okay, so this is the if condition. If you want the first statement is true, then you consider this. Else you consider some other statement. Okay, if the condition is true, you take the first action. If the condition is not true, you take the whatever it is there in the action 2. This is action 2. Okay, so print what hello good morning. Okay, so if you come to know that if the person is Raghav, okay, then you tell him hello Raghav. Okay, else you can tell him if he is not Raghav, then you just tell him that good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, now let us see. Let us see. Run this. Okay, what I'll do, it is Raghav only. Okay, so no problem. Just only that hello Raghav, good morning it came. Okay, and it has executed this statement. Now it won't go to else statement. Okay, it will go to the else statement only the time the first condition is failed. Okay, since the first condition is passed, it printed hello Raghavendra, good morning, Raghav, good morning, and then it went to the how are you. What if the first action is failed? First action is failed. That is Ravi I have given. Okay, and I clicked enter. Okay, now it see, first it checked the program came here first line. Okay, now what it did Ravi equal to, okay, then Raghav, then, oh, sorry, Ravi, okay, equal to Raghav. Okay, it checked like this and it got the false. So false means it will exit this step and it will go to the next statement. Next statement, if it is print, then it will print that thing. But if it is else, then it will go and check whatever it is there inside. Okay, and it will print that. Whatever it is there in else statement, it will print that. Okay, and then it will come this side and it will go and print this one. So that is the reason why you got only when you give Ravi only good morning. Okay, hello, good morning, and how are you, Raghav? Okay, so this is the else statement. Okay, else statement. Now, if else will take. Okay, I'll take this thing. Okay, um, L if. Okay, else if is called as, means else if, because you can have in a program only one if condition, but I have multiple conditions to check. Okay, condition 1, condition 2, condition 3. Okay, like that I have. Okay, if none of them get satisfied, then I'll go for else, because no condition is there. If none of them is getting if everything is false, means you print this. Okay, like that. Okay, now a is equal to Raghav. Okay, L if one more condition I would like to put. Okay, what is that condition? Okay, if name is equal to, okay, Ravi. Okay, I'll put capital R. Okay, okay, then print. Please print this message if the input name whatever we have given is Ravi. What is hello Ravi? Good morning. Okay, this is what I would like to print for him. Okay, else you just give general hello message. Okay, now let me run this. So it asked for the name to enter. Okay, I don't have any issues. I will give the name. Let me put it like this, side by side comparison. Okay, I will give Ravi now. Okay, Ravi now. So first the code come here. Okay, okay, where? Yeah, the first line has actually asked me to enter that, enter the name. I have entered it. Now the code comes here. Okay, as soon as when I click enter, the code comes here and checks whether Ravi is equal to double equal to Raghav, and both are same text or not. Since it is not, it will ignore whatever there inside and it will go to the else if. Okay, now again in else if, it will check what it is there. Ravi I have given. Ravi is equal to Ravi or not. Double equal to double equal to. Correct, right? Double equal to is comparing the content of an object. So both the objects content is same or not? Yes, both are same content. So now it will get inside the program and gives us the print statement. Hello Ravi, good morning. And will it print hello good morning or not? No, it will not, because whenever any condition gets satisfied, inside whatever it is there, it will get executed and it will immediately come out of the program and goes to the remaining statements. Okay, let us see that. Okay, see, that is the reason first thing it ignored, came to the second condition, and then it checked, right? Rag, like Ravi is equal to Ravi. Yes, it returned the true. Okay, so now I will get inside this condition statements. So these are like hello Ravi, good morning, it is printed, and then it won't go to else, because once any one condition satisfies, okay, it will be happy and it will come out of that particular, after executing all the statements, it will come out and gets to the next statement, whatever here it is print. Okay, and if you have multiple print statements or any other statements, it will go there. Okay, but just one thing you have to remember, only one condition it will take here. Any one will get executed, not all, or not two, or not three. Only one condition will be satisfied at any given point of time. Let us show you one more time. Okay, L if, okay, multiple times I am taking, name is equal to, okay, Mahesh. I'm just taking one name. Okay, if it is Mahesh, print. Okay, I want this to be printed. Okay, control F. Hello, Mahesh. Okay, good morning. Okay, I will take it. I will save it. I will run it. Okay, so whatever text I give, any one condition, if it's satisfied, that is enough. Okay, what did I say now? Mahesh, I said. Okay, now you tell me first name I have given it is Manish. First statement, will it get satisfied? No, so it won't print anything inside. So it will come here. Doesn't even look into it. What is there inside? First it will check the condition. If it is true, then only it will get inside. If it is fails, then it will just come back and goes to the else if. In else if again it will check whether the condition is like Mahesh and Ravi is both are same. Okay, no, it is not that. So it doesn't even look into there. Now let's comes here. Okay, and checks Mahesh is equal to Mahesh. Definitely yes. Okay, then it will print hello Mahesh, good morning. Okay, then at the end it comes to the print statement, whatever it is there left out in the program to execute. It can be like some 1,000 lines will be there here. All those 1,000 lines will execute after that, but none of these condition statements. Okay, this is the else if. Okay, if lost one time, I'll just give you I won't give anything. Okay, none of the statements will be executed. Okay, like um, uh, uh, like Ramesh. Ramesh is there here? No, that particular name itself it is not there. Okay, so there is no chance that you will get that particular thing here. Okay, so if none of the conditions, if every condition is failed here, then only the else will get executed. Okay, let me remove this so that, okay, let it be there. Okay, um, if none of the conditions, if this condition and this condition are failed means, then only this condition, the content in this condition will be executed. So that's why see, hello, good morning, that executed, and whatever the left out in the program, the main program, it gets executed. Okay, so this is the else condition. Okay, so okay, I think um, okay, this much is enough, I guess. Do you, what program we can give? Anything? Okay, some numbers kind of thing we will try to do. That's better. Okay. Um, Let me try to open. By now it might have cooled down or something like that. Leave, new, Python, something. Okay, let me try. If number one is there, n1 is equal to, I would like to give first number. Okay. What you have to do? Input. Okay. Input. Okay. Enter the value of, okay, first number. Now, two numbers I'll take for conditions and all. Okay, this is N2. Enter the value of the second number. Okay, now if okay, if N1 greater than N2, okay, this you must keep this indentation colon. Okay, enter. Okay, print. Okay, based on this the condition. Okay, hmm? Biggest number is okay, comma N1 you give. Okay, and this one I would like to print. Okay, else okay, print. Yeah, let me put it like this. Okay, else N2. Okay, let me run this code, guys. It asks me 100 is the N1 I give. Okay, then the second number I'll give 50. Which number is the bigger one? Which number is the bigger one, guys?
100.
100, right? So, why, else N2. Why it showed N2? Why, enter. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I have to convert it into int. Integer, I have not converted. So, it will check the first value and as in the form of string, and this value as a string. 5 has got highest ordnance value. So considers this only the bigger thing. It is string comparison, not the int comparison. I'll just convert it into int. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me run this. Okay. Now 100 and 50, which is the biggest value, 100. So you have to convert everything into integer. Okay. If you are using integer means. Okay. So first N1, whatever the value you given 10, and the second value whatever you have given 50, it did comparison. Okay, the condition is true. That's why it has printed the biggest number is as N1, because this one N1 means N1 value is 100. What if okay, I'll run this code. 50 is the smaller number of N1 and 100 is a bigger number. Now we see the else condition, because the condition is 50 is greater than 100 is failed. 50 is greater than 100, no, it is failed. So it will go whatever the statement is there in the Python else condition will get executed. That is this condition. Okay, so is this clear for you guys? If else if, guys?
Yes, Raghu.
Yeah, okay. So
Yes.
I just want to build up a little more complexity on the existing program itself. Okay, remember this. We have used so many conditions. I mean, like, what do you say, operators and everything, right? So now you should be able to get to know about which things we should use. Okay. Now I have two things like uh, in the real world, N1 is greater than N3. Okay. So if this condition is satisfied and this condition is satisfied, okay, if this is true and this is also true, okay, then only you execute the statement. So that is what we have done, right? True means when if the first condition is false, okay, then it will be false only. Okay. So let me check. Okay. What I'll do is instead of this, I'll give you three numbers. Okay. I'll give you three numbers. Okay. Now we will dissect it one by one. Okay. Like, let me write it. First statement I'll write. Okay. Then we will see the other statements. Oh, Control Z. Yeah, we'll put it here. Okay. Now let us see. First statement, what I am writing here is like entering the number. Okay. First number, entering the second number, entering the third number, that is N3. Remember these guys, I have total 3 numbers now. Okay. Enter the value of first number, enter value the second number. Okay, number I have written. Okay, let me remove this. Okay. 3 numbers we have taken as inputs. Am I correct? Okay. The first thing what I am going to do is, if I don't have anything over here, first N1 greater than N2. What is the result I'll get? Usually, if I perform this N1 greater than N2, if I perform where it is, yeah. If I perform, guys, tell me 10 greater than 5. What is the result I'll get?
True.
True or false? Correct, right? First, it will check whether the statement is true or not. If it is true, it will keep that. Just it will keep that. Okay. This will turn out to be true. Just remember that. True. Okay. N1 is greater than N3. Okay. Say for example, I have 3 values: 10, 20. Okay. Else 10, 5, 3. Something is there. Okay. 3 numbers are there. First, 10 is greater than 5. What I'll get?
True.
True. Okay. Now, let me remove this. You just keep it in your mind. 10, 5, 3. Okay. Now, 10 is A, N1. N2 is 5. N3 is 3 something. Okay. Now just remember, this is true statement, and I have the N1 greater than N3, means 10 greater than 3 example I am giving. What is the output?
True.
True is the condition. So this condition is true and this condition is true. If 2 conditions are true, like in the truth table, where it is the truth table, I'll write it here. Okay, in the truth table for AND, okay, I have A, okay, and I have B, okay, true, 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 false, false, true, false, false. In which conditions, okay, AND will return true? Tell me.
If both are true.
When both are true, it will be true. Remaining things and all, it will be false. Correct, right? It will be false. Okay. If both are true, then it will be true. Correct, right? So the same thing happens over here. Since both conditions are true, the program will enter into this particular execution. Is this clear or not? First point I want you guys to know. Guys,
Clear, Raghav.
Hello.
both. Okay, fantastic. Okay. See, if this condition it's turned to be true, because ultimately when you run any such program, it will return you true only. Correct, right? Huh? I mean, like, sorry, I shouldn't take. I mean, like, I'm just giving the result only here. Don't consider this. Okay. When you execute this, it will give you some condition. Okay, as a Boolean value, as a return value, and here also you have the Boolean. When this Boolean and this Boolean, okay, both are true for AND condition, then only it will go. If you take OR condition here, OR is there. If either this or this true, the condition is satisfied, it will get inside. Okay. So now you see this, and okay. Okay. Now, if N1 is greater than, okay, if N1 is greater than N2 and N1 is greater than N3, then you please get inside and tell that N1 is greater, because N1 is greater than N2 and as well as N3. Both conditions are satisfied. So I will easily, closing my eye, can say that this is N1 is the biggest value. Else if it is not the case, okay, N2 is greater than, okay, N3, because you already, what do you say, done some conditions here. Okay, you need not to check, uh, because N1 is greater than N3 and N1 is greater than N2. So all those conditions you have, N1 is greater than N, okay, N2 is greater than N1 is already done here. You got it right. Reverse, in reverse it is done. Okay, that's why here the condition is failed means N1 is greater than N2 means what? N1 is greater than N2 means N1, whatever the value you have already checked, that is not required to check here. The only thing is N2 is greater than N3 or not, you have to check. Because those two values already checked, the failed condition is over, then that is the reason it came here. Okay, now then print, okay, the biggest value is N2. Now, if this condition is also not satisfied, then blindly you consider, okay, so now let us see, 10, 20, 30. Now, print means three of them, like 10 greater than 20. Okay, it is false, correct, right? So if the first statement itself false means it won't get inside. Okay, so it will come out. And N2 greater than N3 means 20 greater than 30. That is also false. So completely exited from the program. But if you have some else condition here, okay, that gives you print, okay, the, okay, the entire thing I'll put it here. I'll put it here. So N3 is the biggest value. I will say that. So now see 10, 20, 30, because none of the conditions are satisfied. Now once again I would like to run this. Where it went? This one. Okay. 100, 50. Okay. Now till here what happened? The first condition, if it gets inside, okay, 100 greater than 50. Yes, it is 100%. Okay. And N1 greater than, now what, 100 is greater than 200. Now this first condition will be executed or not inside. The statement will get executed or not. It won't, because the second statement is false here, because I have put 200. So it will come out and checks the second statement, that is N2. N2 is what? 50. 50 is greater than 200. No, it will come out and again it will print else statement only. See, so biggest number is N3, that is 200. So when it is going to satisfy, okay, only the time when you have like 100, 50, okay, 10. So N1 is 100 greater than 50. This is true statement. Okay, this is the true statement. And N1, that is 100 greater than 10. That is also true statement. So that means I need to go to else if and else. Now the condition is satisfied here itself. So I'll be printing the N1 value. Is this clear? Three values, how we have to validate them. Yeah, how you have to use and or statements. Is it satisfied for you? Guys, how you have to use, guys, is it clear?
Yeah, clear, Rahul.
Yes, Rahul.
Yeah. So I think you guys take some break, some 15-20 minutes break. Okay. We will meet 11:10. Is it okay? 11:05 or something?
Okay.
Okay. Take a break, everyone. We will meet at 11:15.
Raghav,
Yeah.
here I have one small doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the difference between EL if or else if here?
No. You cannot put one more if here. Okay. So that's why they have given elif. That's it. Okay. If you want to write one more condition, anything, big condition, and something, anything, you can write it. Okay. The thing here is same if you put if. Okay. Here, what happens, you see. Okay. If I run this program, oh God, things. Okay, I will show you. See, A is equal to 10. Okay. B is equal to 20. Okay. If A greater than B, correct, right? Okay. Print A. Okay. Now, if I can use if only and A, what? Okay, C also I'll put. C is equal to, no, not required C. Okay. If A less than B, okay, print, okay, uh, okay, or else B greater than A. So not B, A greater than B, else only, right? So we'll put C. Okay, so if I put, okay, I'll take this only. Okay, A greater than B, print A greater than A less than B, print B. Okay, just 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 take this like this. Okay, just some small statement which I have given without else or anything. Okay, now I'll run it. What happened? Now, first it checked A greater than B, correct, right? First 10 greater than 20 it checked, it is a failed condition. Okay, now 20 it has given. Okay, and it went here. Okay, next statement, A less than B. Okay, and it checked here. Okay, if you have multiple conditions like this, okay, to be validated, okay, to the program, in the program, okay, and if something like 20 is here, okay, and this is 10, which satisfies this condition. Okay, now you see this, what is happening here. uh, if A less than B, correct, right? Okay, now let me run this. Okay, here only this A value, whichever 20 is getting displayed, and it is going here also, the condition. Okay, but sometimes what it requires for us is, okay, if this condition is not satisfied, okay, let me go for this condition, like um, yeah, we'll take text example. A is equal to Raghav, okay, B is equal to, okay, now here only you take, okay, A is equal to Raghav. Now I would like to Raghav I have taken and comparing with Raghav. If is equal to, I have taken. If Raghav is equal to Raghav, execute this. Okay, and this is the best way I can explain you guys. Okay, take this. Okay, if okay, input I can give input. Okay, enter the name. Okay, yeah. Now, or you can put it as name here only. Okay, here also you give it as name. They are same in first if. Okay, and yeah, Okay. So you take this and you have to come here. Okay. Now you tell me. Okay. Now what I'll do is I have Mahesh. Okay. Now I have, let me remove this. I have Suresh. Okay. Now I don't have anything else. Okay. Now I'll execute the program. Okay. Okay. Now I'll execute the program. Okay. I'll run it. Enter the name first. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll say Mahesh. Okay. If I run this particular program right, okay, in the condition statement, first it will go here, okay, and here and here. All the three conditions will check. But as a programmer, okay, but they are all belongs to one block of code. Is it able to notice anywhere? Oh, gone, man. This one is also okay. It will just execute this. But the thing here is, are you able to come to know that all these three things that you are, whatever you are checking belongs to the same thing like that? It is not there, right? You can give if condition only. But why use elif means if the above condition is failed, okay, if the above condition is failed, please come to me. Okay. If again above condition is failed, please don't execute this. Okay. But here the control is going to every statement here. Whether this gets what do you say satisfied or not. Say for example, I can give uh, two statements. Name is equal to input. I can give enter name to. Okay. See, I take this code. Now you will come to know about why we require that thing. Okay, just to see this simple way. I am just putting this entire thing. Okay, and I'm just running this. Okay, two names I have given. Okay, first name I have given Raghav. Okay, second name I have given Mahesh. Okay, both are satisfied, right? Correct, right? Guys,
Yes, Raghav.
Teja, both
Yes.
are satisfied. Okay, since Mahesh is not there. Raghav capital R, it should be there. Okay, anything mistake?
But here print
No,
first
no. Why
statement.
this is not printed? That is what my question. Let me check this. Enter the name Raghav. This is the first condition. Okay, if name is equal to Raghav, yes, it is. Okay, this is the name first name. Name is equal to name. Okay. Oh, sorry. It is overwritten. Okay, name to I have to put. Okay.
And one more thing here,
Uh,
print they are same first if only, na?
no. This is a second if, second if, third if. Okay. If name 1 is equal to Mahesh or okay, name 2 is equal to
Raghav, we are unable to hear your voice.
2 is equal to Raghav. Okay, some crappy conditions I have written. Okay, Now I am trying to run it. Okay. First it asked me Raghav. I have given yes. Okay. The second condition I have given Mahesh. Okay. Guys, if you see properly, okay, why it went? Name 2 is equal to Mahesh is there, right? Hmm? This condition has to be satisfied. Name, enter name 2.
It's a capital M, I think.
Okay, that is the reason. Okay, let me run. Let me run. Let me run. It is Raghav, Mahesh. Okay, yeah. It went into the second if. Okay. The problem is now it is not under one code block. Okay. If I want, I can execute both if conditions. See, if I want, I can execute. Okay. First name Raghav I'll give. Okay. Second Mahesh I can give. Sorry, capital M, right? Okay. Let me run that. Raghav Mahesh. Okay. The second if I got Raghav and Raghav. Okay. This one Mahesh. Okay. Save it. Okay. Now run it. First one is Raghav. This condition will check. If name is equal to Raghav and name 2 is equal to Mahesh. Okay. Now, as soon as in the block, if I get this condition, actually I should execute it. I am forgetting to put capital M, man. Okay, Raghav, Mahesh. Okay. How many conditions it executed now? You tell me.
2.
2 should never execute as per the like programming thing. Okay.
Okay.
If